Hi, the Islamic Dad here. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe. It does help me out a lot. I'm in a pretty rotten mood, but thought I'd make a video on something that popped up that I hadn't really spoken about directly before. And that's kind of the specific patterns and oddities that have to do with how the narcissist texts you. So just starting at the beginning, I guess. One thing you'll notice with the narcissist versus, say, most other people is that during the love bombing phase, they will text you more than anyone's ever texted you in your entire life. Basically, I mean, if you stop and think about it, or at least, going from my own experience, it was literally from the time the narcissist woke up. I don't even think they were out of bed. And they were already texting me all the way through the day and then back at night to when they were in bed, practically falling asleep with their phone in their hand. And this went on basically, every day. And it would be, say they're in school, it would be, in between classes. If they were at work, it might be on their breaks, on the way home from work, etc. It was just nearly constant. And at least for myself, at first I thought it was extremely strange, bizarre. Like I couldn't understand what was going on, that this person that I just started dating was texting me that much. But again, I loved it. I loved the attention. It made me feel like I was the focus of their attention. And that, the reason that I was receiving all these texts throughout the day and stuff was because I was literally on their mind all day long, which, during the love bombing phase, is true. So, going to the, opposite end of the spectrum, once the relationship with the narcissist actually, starts and goes on, again, speaking from my own experience, but it sounds like this is pretty typical. Narcissists will be manipulative even with how they text. And that it was very common for, my covert narcissist ex to just ghost me, so to speak, if things weren't going the way she wanted them to, or if she was angry about something but didn't want to actually talk it out. That and we're not talking about teenagers here. I mean, we're talking about grown ass adults just ghosting their partner that they're in a relationship with, and doing that kind of silent treatment, which again, for me, I would call them on it, and which I thought, oh, I'm standing up for myself, but it didn't really change anything or matter, because one, it didn't necessarily force them to reply in a timely manner, and two, when they did, they would always just brush it off and just say, hey, I just got busy at work, or oh my gosh, my phone was turned off, or oh my gosh, I had the ringer on my phone off. They would always have an excuse there to come back to, like the fact that they hadn't responded to a text for 8 hours or 12 hours was just an oopsie. And then they would quickly change the topic and try to get the conversation going on in another way. Um, Sorry, I'm reading my notes here. So the um, other thing is just kind of, for me, I described the last 2, 3 years of my relationship with my ex as the roller coaster, and um, that had, that was shown in the text too, and so even during, say, like a week, there might be some days where I would just get the flood of text, and then things might go to, normal, and then she would evaporate and kind of ghost, if you will, and I would barely have any interaction with her for a few days, and then it would come back, and then it would be the flood of text, and it was just this constant up and down, this roller coaster. And again, normal people don't act like that. Normal people don't function like that. Normal people have a stable personality, temperament, and they're just like, no, I like to, typically text this many times during the day or during the week, for this long, and I have these other things going on in my life, but it's, there's a level of stability there with normal people that you just don't see with the narcissist, even with like, texting. The gaslighting and manipulation that you would experience face to face with the narcissist, they will not hesitate to do that in text. And so, for instance, going to my girlfriend at the time and saying, hey, this part of the relationship bothers me, or, I'm concerned about this. She would, like one of her go-tos was, oh, you're so insecure. You're so insecure, which narcissists love to say. And, that would happen in text also, where if I was texting her and said, hey, why did you, say that we were going to get dinner tonight, and then you just backed out and changed your plans out of nowhere. They would just say, hey, stuff happens, don't be insecure. And so just the same gaslighting manipulation that they do face to face continues in text. One thing, and I should have led with this next one because this one's big. One of the things that's, kind of a given in a real, oh my God, Chinese Mayday parade of red flags that you're dealing with a narcissist is when you text them, I would say, normal, healthy, non-toxic people would say, hey, how was your day? And you would, and then the other person would say, hey, my day's pretty good. I'm getting some stuff done at work. How's your day? Oh, my day's, going well also. I'm thinking about, checking out this restaurant with my friend after dinner and stuff. What are you doing, after work? And you would say, oh, well, I'm going to go home and I'm gonna, work on music, and I'm working on this one, song. And they would say, oh, what genre and stuff. Like there would be an interaction between the two, and questions. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, tell me more. Tell me more. Narcissists, they just don't do that. I mean, they will, if you ask them and say, hey, how's work going? They will give you this download of, everything that's happened since 8 a.m. at work, the people that are annoying them, what they don't like about their job, how they are the hardest worker, how they're the smartest worker, how they could be making so much more at any other company, how much they hate this company, how much they, are considering working at another company, and how they have this friend that's working at this other company that they're going to talk to see if they have any open positions, and that they're considering a career change, and they took these, I could go on for like 5 minutes. The narcissist will do that and not stop to even take a breath, let alone say, hey, how's your day going? Or, how's your job going? Do you enjoy your work? Have you thought, have you ever, kicked around the idea of a career change? They just don't operate that way. And so, at least for me, one of the things that I noticed very, very, very early when I was just, when I just just started dating my covert narc ex, was how self-centered she was. She would be bubbly and charming and laughing and making jokes, but an hour-long conversation would be 59 minutes of her talking about herself. And at the time, even at the time, I thought it was very odd, but I couldn't quite, I didn't know how to categorize that because I'd really not met or interacted with people that were that selfish. And the fact that she would do it with a bubbly, friendly personality, it was kind of a bit of cognitive dissonance. I mean, it was hard to me to kind of, match those two together. But at least now, after being burned so badly, now I know, like, if I'm, dating someone and I meet them, I'll kind of, almost make a game out of it. 3 questions. Hey, how are you doing? How's your day, or how's work going? What are your plans for this weekend? What's your favorite movie? If I can ask a person 3 questions, and say I'm on a date, and they do not ask me even one, check please. I'm gone. Thanks. It was nice meeting you. This isn't going to work out. Bye. I that is such a huge red flag when you're meeting or dating someone and they show through their actions they do not care about you. They have no interest in even pretending that they want to know anything about you. Just, don't walk, run for the door. So that was another big one. Yeah, and then again, kind of along the same lines, lack of empathy. I mean, again, with the texting, that's one of those things where it's just their personality that they have, that they show you face to face, isn't going to change drastically, if at all, over text. And so even if you're texting and you say, oh my God, I can't, my grandmother died last night. I'm so devastated. This, I knew she was ill, but this just kind of came out of nowhere. And, I'm really having a hard time processing it. And my ex would say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Have you tried the new Ben and Jerry's ice cream flavor? It's really good. I just got some at the store today, and I mean, I've already had like half a bowl already. Like, I mean, just no empathy at all. It's like, oh, your relative died. Okay, so what toppings do you want on your pizza? Because I'm ordering right now. Triangulation, my favorite. Not actually my favorite, my least favorite, I guess. So, one of the things that I had to deal with my but actually both my narcissists in my life, my ex and my ex-wife, was triangulation. Basically, where the way that it popped up the most was them bringing up exes. And they would, we'd be watching a movie, having fun. And then for no reason, they would feel compelled to bring up this cool, my cool boyfriend in college, his name was Eric. That guy was so much fun. Oh my God, that guy was wild. He was the best, and it's just like, okay, what the hell? We're watching Lord of the Rings. Why are you bringing up Eric from college? And so they would do this type of triangulation that way, where it's just like they're very subtly trying to get you to compare yourself to this other person and make it so that it's not about you and your partner, but it's you versus this other person, which in my case I have probably never met in my life. And just kind of, and then the narcissist, their plan was basically like they can set that up and then just kind of fold their arms, sit back, and watch you try to defend yourself as if it's, a contest or something. Personally, I never really fell for it. But that said, it was still annoying as hell because both my exes did it all the time. And even when I told them, please stop, that's annoying. I want to watch a movie. I don't want to talk about your ex from college. So the other one is basically, the last one that I'll talk about is the kind of the flip of all this is the demand for quick response, so to speak. So one thing that's, is if anyone who's ever dealt with narcissists knows, they're all about the double standard. And so whereas it's perfectly fine for the narcissist to just blow you off for a day and just be like, no, I'm not going to talk to them. I'm not going to respond to any of their texts or anything. And then the next day, be like, oops, I had my ringer turned off or something like that. That's perfectly fine for the narcissist to do that. But if the narcissist texts you and you don't respond in an appropriate amount of time for them, which depending on the situation might be an hour, or I know that when I was starting my relationship with my covert narc ex, it was 15 minutes. And again, like I have not delved into the psychology of this. During the love bombing phase, my covert narcissist ex-girlfriend was the most insecure person I've ever met in my life. And she would admit it. I mean, she'd just say it, to my face and just, ask me for reassurance and all this stuff. And so she, on multiple occasions, if she texted me and I was working, like I do because I have a job, and I didn't respond back and say 15 minutes, she would just assume that I had broken up with her and that I hated her guts and that I decided that she was not worth my time, etc., etc. And so, and again, this is very much only during the love bombing phase where I had multiple, conversations where, she would actually sit me down and just, confess how insecure she was and how she just wanted to let me know that, that's where she's at and that she could really use more, reassurance, because if I don't respond in 15 minutes, she thinks that, I hate her guts and stuff like that. And so I know it's easy, hearing that, to say, oh, well, she was manipulating you. And, I'm not going to say no, that wasn't part of it. But the main thing is that there was something psychological going on. There was something deep going on, where during the love bombing phase, the truth was she was that insecure. I mean, it was manipulative to ask me to always be giving her reassurance. But the fact was is that she actually was that insecure, and was, experiencing those emotions and stuff at that time. Again, I don't understand it, but I'm just, wanted to throw that out there, that it's kind of ironic, given that the same person that would practically be in tears begging you to reassure them that you're not going to leave them, because you didn't respond to their text within 15 minutes, that the same person that is begging you for that reassurance is the same person that a year later takes 12 to 24 hours to respond to you, just because they're in the mood. So, yeah. Hopefully this video's been helpful. Thanks.